Tonight's engagement event is another one of the many examples of Birmingham City Council and the luxury developers not properly listening and taking steps to engage with our community. There are far more than 200 homeowners in Ladywood, and yet we only have 200 seats in the next couple of weeks inside this engagement event. Far more people want to be able to get inside tonight than are able to do so. Why are the council and why are the developers not making space for us? That is not acceptable, and we will not allow this to happen.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to hand over to fellow Ladywood resident Lee, who has been helping to organize us into a more formal group to try and do something to stop these awful regeneration plans. So Lee, over to you.
It's been an absolute sham since day one, to be quite frank. I, with some of you here, was stood a few weeks ago at the community centre when we literally had the doors shut in our faces as we were trying to demand answers for the people and businesses of Ladywood. Laura's done a fantastic job along with Robert and many others that have been working in the community. We'd love to get your involvement if you're interested in joining, because we're looking at setting up a formal neighbourhood forum, which means that the council, if they approve that, has to listen to us. Because what we've said from day one is they haven't even asked us any questions. We first heard about this in the middle of 2019. They were going to try and find a developer. And then in June, out of the blue, they said, oh yeah, we found a developer whilst none of you were looking. We've picked them. It's St Joseph. They're going to redevelop the area over 20 years. And at full council, our councillors, Kath Hartley and Albert Bohr, were asked for their opinion. And they had none. No opinions on a 20-year, £2 billion regeneration project that includes compulsory purchase orders where people might be losing their homes. Not if we've got anything to do about it, of course, along with your support. Yes. So we're demanding that we start the whole process again. If they want to look at a scheme, we're quite happy to do it with them, but we do it together on a blank piece of paper.
Yes. Yes.
Some of you might have seen on Birmingham Live, it's still up there now if you Google it. There's a famous drawing with a red line drawn around it. They're now trying to deny that ever existed. We're now told, are we not, that there is no contract with the developer? So they're sort of floating around waiting for something to do. In the meantime, we're in the middle of a cost of living crisis. We've got inflation sky high. We've got lots of other issues. And yet they seem, this is my view, not the formal council view, they seem to be just wanting to make it a bit prettier so it can match what's going on with all the glass and the steel and the big lights on Broad Street and Grand Central and the rest of it. Well, these aren't houses, these are people's homes, and there is a difference there. And they've come up against the wrong group of people if they're not going to listen. So thank you again for coming out tonight. I hope you're going to sign the petition. We're going to get Robert to say a few words now.
I was here in 1990 when they were consulting about the previous regeneration here. And that time they actually did it properly. Albert Bohr, the long-standing local councillor who has nothing to say about it now, came to us and said they'd learnt from their mistakes in the 1950s and 60s when regeneration was done to communities, and they said that this time they're going to work with us, and they did, believe it or not. It's the only time I've ever known Birmingham City Council to actually work with ordinary people, but we got together with architects, we planned a new development just over there where some blocks were so awful they had to come down, and it was done, and people even got homes that were designed around their disabilities. Now, less than 30 years later, they want to demolish it. Perfectly good housing that's just in the way of a greedy developer. And it's a similar story with the rest of us. Just over there you've got those houses. They were originally masonettes. They took the top masonettes off, put roofs on, turned them into houses. Less than 30 years ago. Now they want to demolish them. What's the point? As far as I can make out, What they want to do is demolish absolutely everything, including all the churches, which is religious discrimination. It's unlawful under the Equalities Act, but they want to get rid of the churches. They don't want to admit it, but they want to get rid of the churches and replace us with secular and community space. Okay for atheists, not so good if you're a Christian. And how many people, I wonder, are going to die? We've got plenty of old people around here. We've got an old lady. She's a very long-standing church member, lived around the corner, lived here for decades, since I think the 1960s. Her family don't dare tell her, because she's so frail. The idea of being moved again is going to kill her. It's just awful what they're doing to people. We've been and talked to Albert Bohr, the local councillor. He tells us there is no plan, but there's documents on the council website which summarise a plan signed off by the council. He says they're not planning to demolish, but the documents say they are. They says they haven't got a contract with Barclay. Well, what have they got then? Because they've obviously got something, and if it's not a contract, I'd like to know what it is. It's a mess. The council cannot be trusted. Time and again we've seen the same pattern. They make a decision, they hold a token consultation, they ignore everything that's been said, they've just done it with a ringway, and they do what they planned in the first place. What we have to do is get enough people together to stop them doing it again to Ladywood. Because we want our home.
Ladywood will not stand for it. Thank you all for coming out tonight. Please sign the petition if you have not done so already. Join the LadywoodUnite.com mailing list to get updates on the next events and activities, and protect our homes, protect our community spaces, our businesses, our churches, our schools. Thank you.
Thank you.